If you want shredded and defined abs, and you want to learn the press to handstand faster and easier, then listen up, because in this video I'm going to show you the most painful but most effective ab exercise you can do. Let's see. And this is the seated leg raises in pike or in straddle. It's really painful. This is one of those evil gymnastics exercises that hurts like hell but works like magic. Why? Because it hits two key things: compression and brutal core strength. In gymnastics, we call compression or compression strength when the trunk and legs are as close as possible by contracting the abs and hip flexors as well as the thighs. But that's just one part of the complex strength required in gymnastics, because alongside compression, you also need controlled support, shoulder mobility, and full body tension depending on the skill you're performing, like an L-sit, a press to handstand, a V-sit, or manna. But more on those later. For now, let's take a look at why this is one of the best and also most painful ab exercises. So why is this so effective for abs and six-pack? It's because you're working your abs in the exact range of motion where they contract the most and where you can achieve peak contraction. Let me give you an example that will help you understand why. One of the best ab exercises for building a dense, rock-solid six-pack is the hanging leg raises. But the most effective part of the movement is when your legs go beyond 90 degrees of hip flexion, meaning past the point where they are parallel from the floor. From here, your abs, especially the rectus abdominis, so your six-pack, engage much more intensely. Up to 90 degrees, the abs are still working, but the hip flexors are doing most of the work. So if we look at leg raises performed from a seated position, you can see that the hip joint is already at 90 degrees or even less, so when you lift your legs up from there, your abs immediately kick in much more intensely. You basically skip the less effective part of the movement. Of course, this doesn't mean that your hip flexors won't be working or that your quads won't cramp. Unfortunately, yes. And this brings us to one of the reasons why most people hate this exercise. If you want to perform it nicely with fully extended knees, you can almost expect your quads to cramp up at first. But don't worry if it happens, just stop for a moment, shake out your legs or massage your quads, then keep going. It's a completely normal reaction, especially if you've never engaged your quads in this type of position before. In fact, cramps can even happen during regular straight leg raises when done with fully locked knees. The upper range, so above 90 degrees, can also trigger cramping. Still, I have to emphasize, paying attention to keeping your legs fully extended is totally worth it. Cramp or no cramp, this exercise will be much more effective and your press to handstand or leg raises will look way better. The other reason people tend to avoid this exercise is usually due to a lack of flexibility. To perform this exercise comfortably, well, let's be honest, it's never going to be comfortable, but to execute it correctly, you need a basic level of mobility. As a minimum requirement, you should be able to hinge forward with straight knees and touch the ground with at least your fingertips. If you can go beyond that, these seated leg raises will feel easier and much more effective. If you're struggling with mobility and want to train according to a structured system, I recommend joining the Gymnastics Method Premium membership on the link below. But let's get back to compression. Now that you understand why this is such an effective ab exercise, let's look at some additional benefits. There are times when you need to apply compressive force while in a supported position, like press to handstand, V-sit, or manna, and there are times in hanging position during a leg raise or pike on rings. In gymnastics, this is an essential skill. On the parallel bars, for example, press to handstand often appears as transition. The same goes for the rings or even on the floor. Long story short, this exercise is a go-to in gymnastics training. They use it to build such a high level of compression strength that gymnasts can perform a press to handstand anytime, anywhere. So if learning press to handstand is one of your goals, this exercise is essential. Now that we've covered all the benefits, let's break down how to get started with this brutal movement. As a first step, it's important to get your quads and hip flexors used to the leg lift motion, since these are the muscles that will signal first if you don't yet have a solid foundation. This variation will work even if you struggle with flexibility because it doesn't require extreme forward bends or deep positions. Sit in a straight leg position with your back fully upright, don't lean back and avoid rounding. Place your hands behind you for support and from this position, perform single leg lifts and holds. It's important to keep your leg fully extended, don't let your knee bend even if it feels hard at first. This is how you gradually build strength and muscle control. Focus on lifting your leg slowly and lowering it with control, not just kicking it up. That's how you activate the muscles needed for compression most effectively. The goal is 3 sets of 10 reps and 10 seconds hold. From this point, the goal is to move your hands farther forward next to your legs. But now, let's go through the main milestones. In this next step, we move the hands further forward, place your hands behind your thighs. This may seem a small change, but it actually makes a big difference. Since your arms now help with balance and stabilization, you'll be forced to use more core and leg strength. This brings you closer to a true body position used in gymnastics L-sits. Keep your back straight again, don't lean back. The effort is now more intense, and if you focus on the details, like fully extended knees, pointed toes, and keeping your torso from tilting, you'll notice the movements start to take on a more gymnast-like character. If you feel like you can barely lift your leg or only it moves a tiny bit, don't worry, that's completely normal at this stage. Even small movements count here and you will improve day by day. The goal again, 3 sets of 10 reps and 10 seconds hold. The third step is the full version of this exercise. This time, place your hands aside or even slightly in front of your knees and now round your back. The rounded spine helps you tilt your pelvis backward, which allows the abs to engage more dominantly while reducing unnecessary stress on your lower back. From here, perform single leg lifts, then progress to both legs together, ideally with fully extended knees. Don't be surprised if this feels much harder than the previous steps. At this point, you're relying almost entirely on your core and hips without any real assistance from behind. This is where you will really feel that deep, compressive strength, and it's really what eventually helps you unlock high-level gymnastics elements like the press to handstand, V-sit or L-sit. The goal remains the same, 3 sets of 10 reps and 10 seconds hold. Between sets, if you experience cramping, feel free to gently stretch your abs or bend forward to stretch your hamstrings and the entire posterior chain. This will help you perform the exercise through a greater range of motion. If you're doing the leg raises in a straddle position, start there with single leg lifts as well, 3 sets of 10 reps and 10 seconds hold, then gradually progress to both legs, placing your hands in front of your body and moving them farther forward step by step. Trust me, it's absolutely worth adding these exercises to your training, especially if you want to learn the press to handstand. This will help tremendously, and as I mentioned before, your abs will also get a serious load. Among isotonic core exercises, this one ranks at the top besides hanging leg raises. So if you want abs that aren't just for show, but are functionally strong too, and if you want to lay the foundation for press to handstand, L-sit, and many other advanced movements, then this is something you can simply not skip in your training. Yes, I know it feels uncomfortable at first. Yes, your quads might cramp. And yes, the first few times you might think, this is impossible for me. But if you follow the step-by-step system I showed you in this video, I guarantee you will see insane progress in just a few weeks, not only in your abs, but in how your entire body works. If you like this exercise and want to learn more, join the Gymnastics Method membership. If you want me to help you with fully personalized programs and support, click the link below and apply to one-on-one coaching. Otherwise, if you want to work at your own pace, using the same well-structured system, just click the link below, join the Gymnastics Method community with the app, and get access to all my programs, tutorials, daily workouts, and much more. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and now check out one of my earlier videos on the end screen.